One of the first videos I created on this channel was about how to create a course assessment to have your students fill out alongside their student evals. So I'll link that 7-step process below. There's a video and a blog post about it. But today I want to talk about how do you do it digitally, and also how do you add more elements to it now that your students have had part of the class in person and part of the class online. So here's a few things to think about when creating this semester's course assessment. Hi there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and this channel is all about teaching tips, tools, and resources for college instructors, along with some videos about grad school advice more generally. Today I'm talking about course assessments because I realized it's going to be a bit harder to do this semester now that part of it has been online and part of it has been in person. And so, things you want to think about in a general course assessment are having, your students answer questions about the required reading list, the major assignments, the small class activities, your teaching style, etc. But in today's, I want to talk more about, what things to insert now that part of the class has been online. And so as far as creating the assessment, before in my older video, I talked about either doing it paper or digital. And also today, you're going to be doing it digitally. And so I do think you can either use the LMS program, class website. And so on ours, we had the test and quizzes tab where you can create tests and quizzes, where you can create your course assessment and keep it in the LMS for privacy reasons. And so I have a whole video about creating the final exam using this tool, and I'll link that above and below. But it's just one way of doing it where you can have it right into your class website and you know that each student submitted it and who did when. On the other hand, you can use a Google form, for example, and it could be anonymous in that case. You don't have to have students put in your name to protect your privacy. And it can still be great because Google Forms creates automatic charts for you if you have, for example, multiple choice questions. So I do think these are the two good options, your LMS site or Google Forms, to create the course assessment that you have students turn in digitally. You can just share a link with them on your LMS site or via email, and obviously they submit their results to you as soon as possible. So again, Google Forms or the LMS website, test and quizzes function. Now, as far as things to put in it, one thing you want to do might be a comparison and contrast. So you might have a question, let's say 1A is, of the major assignments we did while still meeting in person, and you can list them, which one did you find the most value in and why, and how to answer that. And then 1B can be, of the major assignments we did when we went online, and you list those, which one did you find the most value in and why, right? And then continue on, right? So 2A, which small class activities that we did in class did you feel helped you learn X things the best, right? And list out some examples for them to choose from. And then 2B, online, which small class activities did you find the most value in, and so on and so forth, right? You can ask questions like, okay, we did synchronous teaching online via Zoom, and we did asynchronous teaching via, whatever the case may be, the discussion forums. What did you find to be helpful in each of these types of learning online, and what did you not find to be helpful, right? You can go on, and go on with this element of thinking, A versus B, right? Or even if you're online, right, synchronous versus asynchronous. Okay, you can go into, visual versus non-visual, right? So maybe you had lectures that you did a video recording of your face, right? Maybe you had lectures you did a screen recording of your computer. Maybe you had audio lectures, so just an audio file. So just kind of ask your students, okay, of these different types of media forms, which ones did you feel you learned from the easiest and which ones did you struggle with, right? If you took an online course again and I was the one teaching it, what do you recommend me to do as far as using Zoom versus Loom versus Kahoot, right? What are your thoughts on using the discussion forums versus the chat rooms versus the blog function? Okay, so kind of consider, listing out for your students, here's all these things we did. Which ones do you think worked best for your learning, and which ones do you think we can either pass on going forward or that we can redesign to be better for you in the future? Okay, so maybe you kept it very simple and you kept everything to your LMS website, you did no videos, you did no audio recordings. You can still ask, okay, well, of the tools, the discussion forums versus chat room, or my use of the announcements tool, etc., what helped you and what hindered you in your learning? You could also ask them about other classes. So you might have a question saying, What other tools did other instructors use when teaching online? And are there any tools in particular that you think I should check out and research for future use? Okay, so maybe they use a tool in their math course or in their anthropology course that you had never heard of or thought about, and you can research it and see, hey, look, this can really apply to my teaching too going forward. Not just when teaching online, but even just having an online activity, for example, in a face-to-face course. So I do think you should tell your students, like, I'm open to advice on other tools or other activities, that you've experienced in other courses. Let me know which ones that you think really benefited you, and I can consider that going forward too. Okay. As far as teaching style goes, you might also ask questions about, well, we did synchronous learning at the same time period as our class that, was supposed to take place face-to-face, right? We kept to that Tuesday, Thursday, scheme. But there's also weeks where I assigned something on Monday and we had small activities to do on your own time every day of the week, and something was due Friday. Maybe you did that design as well. Then you can ask students to compare. Which ones did you find more valuable? Did you find it easier to do, the first type or the second type? Why, right? And so kind of get your students thinking, metacognitively for you, right? Like, what is it about these things that we did that really helped you or did not help you in your learning, okay? And so I really think you should consider doing the comparison and contrast, right? That 1A, 1B, but also thinking, okay, like, here are things we did only in person. Let me get your thoughts on that. Here are things we did only online. Let me get your thoughts on that. And then you could have, okay, things we did not do, but you did elsewhere. Tell me about that so I can consider using that if you found it to be something really strong in those classes. Okay, so these are some ideas. Again, if you want how to actually create a course assessment from scratch, the types of questions you should consider asking, I'll again have that video below and above so you can check it out. It's one of the first ones I created. And you can read the blog post if you want, because I list them out there too. And if you have any ideas for the types of questions you want to ask in a course assessment, go ahead and comment below with them, because I'd be interested in seeing what kind of thoughts you have on what you want your students to tell you about this experience that's been happening, these past few weeks, past few months. Okay? And so if you found this video valuable, go ahead and click the like button and let me know. And I do have a few more videos on similar topics that I've listed below and also on this end screen as well. So I'll see you next week with a new video.